Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is our Matchday Highlights show. This is our review show. You've just witnessed West Ham draw at home to Newcastle United after going 1-0 up and giving away, you could say, an extremely sloppy second goal. So what do you think? Keep your comments coming in. We'll have some live link up, of course, from the stadium. But it was, for me, massively disappointing. I think we had an opportunity here. But at the end of the day, we still have to be mindful of the fact that we haven't been beaten, especially when we're not playing well. Now, what that does do for West Ham, let me have just a quick look at the table so we actually all know where we are currently. We are in 5th place with a game in hand on Manchester United with 42 points. We've got 4 games, though, on top of Arsenal, who are behind us with 4 games in hand, as do Spurs. But we need that. Today was, pivotal and vital, I suppose, for West Ham to keep pushing up that league. And we move on to the Wolves game now, where we're at home, and we need to get a performance under our belt. We need to try and turn up and get a performance, because I think that's what's hindering maybe everything moving forward. We've scored a goal, but we've conceded something sloppy. And there are players, and I don't want to be too negative. But there are players there that haven't been performing to the best of their abilities. And we all know who they are. We'll talk through it as the game goes along. But something needs to change a little bit here, really. Let's be brutally honest. Something does absolutely need to change in the West Ham camp, of course. Let me go and see who's in the chat. And then we will obviously speak to whoever comes on live on the stream. So let me come in and see who's there first. We'll go down and speak to everyone. Kenny is in the house. He says, hi, hope everyone is well. Steve Bell is saying very average, so disappointed. Graham Smith is saying, oh dear, 2 points dropped. Dan Clarkson says, I'm fuming. Dirty tackle at the end, can't believe it. Long Dark Tunnel saying, oi, oi. Thomas is saying we're hard to watch. It is actually quite hard to watch. The last several games that we've played since Kidderminster, since coming back really from that little break, have been really difficult games to watch. We're not getting performances under our belt. We're not playing well, but we are picking up points. We've played Watford, we've beat Watford, we played Leicester last week. It was always going to be tough, even though they've not played well and not been playing well. We've got a point. Newcastle, who are on form, the form team in the league, and we've picked up a point at home, but it is at home, and we should really be trying to, get these ones over the line. I bet Hashtime says safe to say we're not winning any trophies this season. Oh, I don't know, mate. Mickey needs to get to go. Benny isn't good enough. Yeah, I don't know what's happened with Antonio. I don't know what's happened with Benny. Confidence has just dropped so much. We were not good enough today. Lack of creativity by me. Benny should not have started. Vlasic should be my pick. Delighted I won my bet. 50 quid on 1-all. I'm on fire. Frank Butcher. Best way hate me. I don't care. Yeah, you're right, mate. Ben Rama. Got poor service from Thomas. Creswell is passive. West Ham Irons 21 can't even beat Newcastle. Something has to give soon from Graham Smith. Hammerhead saying Vlasic looked bright today. Shame he didn't get long Moyes. Washed up tactics really getting on my nerves. Udaya Raja is saying Mikel Antonio, Souček, Fornals, Fredericks, and David Moyes. Graham Smith is saying poor showing. I know you're taking the mick there, Hammerhead. Mandy G saying lucky they never had Wilson, Max, or Trippier. Our squad is stale. It's predictable. Moyes reverting back to his dinosaur days. Moyes' tactics are so predictable. It's horrible. And it's funny. I'm just trying to be a bit of an devil's advocate with it, but we're still picking up points. I know it's not ideal, but are we picking up points and in the position we're in because teams have got so many games in hand? I mean, now we're in the league, we're currently the highest amount of games played. So behind us, Arsenal have got 4 games in hand. Above us, Man United have got a game in hand. 2 teams down, Wolves have got 3 games in hand. 4 teams down, Spurs have got 4 games on hand. We do have currently 6 points on Spurs. We've got 5 points on Wolves, and we've got 3 points on Arsenal. I would rather have the points on the table, but it's not great. But we need to pick up a win soon, another 3 points, and try and push our way up that table as much as we can. Very poor showing. Why we keep playing Antonio. Frank is saying let's address the elephant in the room, or the cat. Why Zuma still getting picked. Hate to say it, but the inactivity in the transfer market is costing us now. The whole team look flat, and there's no quality to come off the bench, change anything. More signs of a bad board feelings. I must admit, we are lacking that option off the bench. We really are lacking that option off the bench, and that's something that could really change the game. When we bring on something more creative than what we've done. I think Vlasic is starting to come out of his shell a little bit, but that would be really it. That would be the only real choice off the bench, which is really, really disappointing. Benny, piss poor again. Yeah. And then there was obviously a bit of an altercation with Benny and David Moyes when David Moyes substituted him and brought him off, and Benny came off and he wasn't happy because Moyes wasn't happy. He was taking so long to come off the park. He was like, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And then they had a couple of words to say when he did. Yeah, we don't need a striker. I know. Wrong sub. Instead, Fornals should have been subbed. The Hazri Moyes out. I'm sorry, but get further. We need to make the next step. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Yeah, Mandy, especially St. Max, that geezer scary good. Just down to poor decision making by some of the players. Megan, very poor, just extremely frustrating for us. Yeah, there wasn't really, we'll dissect the game in a second, but I can't really remember really over the top clear-cut chances in the first half in particular. Jared Bowen had a few chances. He was kind of, the ball was getting played into him in possession, and it was where you would want him to get the ball. But we just, to be fair to Newcastle's defence, I thought they actually defended really well. I really did think they defended well today. Bernie in trouble after slagging off Moyes on leaving the pitch. Absolutely, Ian. I've seen that, and I don't think Moyes will like that, especially when it's so public as well. We're going to finish 7th or 8th. Souček's looks like Yarma Mark 2.0. Souček very poor again. Frank Butcher, Newcastle will be top 6 next season. Mark my words. They're very disciplined. Very, very disciplined football inside. And you can see that Eddie Howe's done that even when they are missing players like St. Maximin and Kieran Trippier. You can see that he's brought discipline into that team, and you can actually see that as well. Newcastle rubbish, we made them look good. I'm not trying to say they played well, but you can just see they're a well-disciplined side. Trini as well. Vaclav, what happened between Moyes and Ben Rama when Benny left the field? They both looked unhappy. They did. To cut long story short, Moyes was pissed off that Benny was walking off, just casually coming off the park. He was like, hurry up, come off the park, and let's get the game going. Moyes out, Glory Hunter spotted. Look, legend, we were not good enough, but I saw more of the physio than any other players. They are snidey little club. Time for Okoflex to have a run. Yeah, you could be right. Maybe we need that bit of a freshening up, something a bit that teams don't expect the most either. Someone off the bench, something a bit different, something that no one's seen before. So for me personally, we've got a week now to the next game, and I would be playing Okoflex in that whole setup and just see what he's concentrating on doing. And Antonio has said and stated we need someone to challenge him in that position. So if you have someone like Okoflex in the back burner challenging that position, especially in training, then it can have a bit of a impact and progress the likes of Antonio, because I'm looking over my back and I'm not undroppable. I can be droppable. I'm not undroppable anymore. Disagree. Trinity Newcastle are solid and loaded now more than Abu Dhabi Massive Man City. But I still don't think they had a fantastic game. I think they are more disciplined as a team, and they shut up shop in several areas. I think their defence is obviously a main feat to deal with. And they've got a couple of tricky, good players. I thought Joe Willock, who's not been firing on all cylinders this season, actually had a good game for Newcastle. And what Eddie Howe's doing with Joel Linton, you've got to give credit where credit's due, because I thought he kind of dominated a little bit of the midfield as well. Declan Rice wasn't at his best today, neither was Tommy Soucek. Moyes never brought a striker in the January, so give Okaflex a chance. I've got to be honest with you, people, and I do agree. I think it is time now to start looking somewhere else in this team and seeing what else we can bring through the ranks, because that is going to offer us something as well. That's top four done. We're actually such a dead team. How have we ever compete in this league is beyond me. We never had possession. We never let the worst teams in the league run around us like little kids. I don't know, mate. I'm not so... I find that comment quite negative, and I don't think I'm there with that, to be honest. Richard Stevens, top six is still on, but we need to turn purse. We absolutely do. The whole squad looks jaded. The season seems to be catching up on us. Trini Hammer, Rice needs to stay back. Soucek is more of a goal threat. I wonder if there is something in that. Again, I wonder if that's something we need to do to switch up for the next game, because they now expect Rice to go forward, and I wonder that's what West Ham need to do. Maybe not rely on him going forward and let Soucek. I do think Soucek does a lot of the donkey work that a lot of people miss, and I think we're so opinionated in terms of, and our expectations are up there in terms of Soucek, because in the first season he hammered the year, he went forward and he scored goals and he done a lot of the defensive work. But because that switched this season, I'm not saying that's why West Ham aren't recently been performing well, but we judge Soucek on maybe the goals and assists that he's getting, and he's not getting as many because he's not getting further forward. And I wonder if that's something we could do to switch things up as well. They're a second string side, especially they were missing Alan St-Maximin, Trippier, Wilson, etc. We should have dominated the game. How are you glory hunting for what Moyes out? Do you want, I mean, Hammerhead, do you want Moyes out? I mean, I don't know, you're taking a piss. Do you really want him out? Is Dawson our new striker though? I mean, I've noticed that, Megan, he's getting forward a lot. I mean, he had a couple of chances. He'd done it in the last game as well. He looked like he got a bit of tickers on him as well. Anton, I don't know how you can be positive that is becoming a habit to play this. I'm not, Freno, please be clear what I'm saying here. Am I happy with that result? No. So, making it clear, I'm absolutely not happy with that result, because I want we want to win as many games as we possibly can. But when we're not playing well, we're still picking up a point. But then I've just sat there and spoke to you about the league. So every team in and around us has 4, 3, or 2 games in hand on what West Ham have currently got. So 2 games from now, things could look completely different in that league if we don't start to win games. We need to put points on the board, because we're so far, because we are in the position we're in, and because we've got all the games played and they don't have the games played. We need to make sure now that every game we play, we win pretty much especially over the next 2 or 3 games. We need to win games to keep ourselves in the front, because if a team picks up form, then they'll start to overtake us, and that's what we'll start to dropping down the league, and we don't want that. Antonio is frustrating, Doctor. He is frustrating. Moyes has lost the plot, mate. Top 6 from Richard is still on, but we need to turn ourselves around sharpish. We absolutely. Absolutely, I don't agree with the Moyes out at all. Glory Hunter's out. You're right, Anton. Newcastle not lost in 5, and that's the thing. They are the form team. They haven't lost now in 5 Premier League games. They won their last 3. They were going 4 in a row. And we nullified that, and we stopped that. And you know what? I wanted West Ham to win. I'm disappointed in the performance, but we've still got a point. We haven't lost, and a point's better than nothing. That's the positive I can take from it. It's better than nothing. Soucek and Antonio, absolutely embarrassing. And I think where my anger and annoyance comes from is the lack of depth, as what everyone else is feeling. Where's our option off the bench? Because that would have, an option off the bench today could have really turned our game around. Really, not just one option, maybe 2 or 3 options off the bench, or having more options to choose from. Because you do worry that the likes of Ben Rama's confidence has been just shot again. Like, he comes on as a substitute and he plays really well last week alongside Vlasic. He starts today. Lanzini's out of the team, I think probably because he's picked up a knock. And he doesn't look confident, and I just don't know what's going on there in terms of in his mindset as a footballer. We can keep scraping matches. We need to start bossing games. Absolutely, mate. We really do. There was no advantage change in Benny for Vlasic. Not good today. David is saying, Moyes couldn't find a striker equal to or better than Antonio for 2 years now. Both unfathomable and unacceptable from David. Benny looked fuming at Moyes today, and Moyes looked fuming at Benny today. Graham is saying, what's the answer? So I'm so confused. We need something to happen quickly, guys. I think, honestly, something fresh, something a bit different, something that teams don't expect. And I think if it means that we're not going to have someone else to challenge Antonio, then I think we probably do need to look into our youth setup and bring on the likes, or look at bringing on Okaflex. I mean, it's not very much like David Moyes, but I mean, Okaflex wasn't even on the bench today, so maybe it's not. I sense disharmony within the ranks. I'm hoping there isn't. I don't think there is. The thing at the end of the day is we need to remember where we are and what we've got now. 12 Premier League games to go. And we'll need to do a show on that and say how many points do you think we can get out of the last 12? How many points do you think we need in order to keep ourselves in contention as well? Richard Stevens, we can't keep scraping games. We need to start bossing matches. Other clubs aren't scared of us anymore. English Ardy, Anton, going forward, to be honest, I don't trust Moyes to elevate us to where we want to go. He can't be trusted, especially this summer coming up with free agents and transfer targets. Yeah, but then the question I'd ask to you then, English Ardy, is if we do finish in the top 6, and we still do go on a cup run, and he gets given this war chest that we're fully expecting, and we're going to bring in 5 or 6 players, would you trust him to do that? Moyes out, not out, deluded. Sad result from Revo. But again, it is. It's like, the last 4 games have. I was at the Watford game and it was the weirdest atmosphere ever. Leicester, I feel like we could have won the game and we let them come back into it. The same with today. I never at any point did I think we could have won. I think it was like a 10, 15, 20-minute spell in the first half that felt like we actually played okay. And we came out of the second half and started okay, but that was really it. And never at any point did I think we could have put this game to bed today. There was never really a real strong opportunity. We could have put the game to bed and the game could have gone either way. But we do have to be mindful and think about Newcastle are one of the informed teams of the Premier League. So we've put an end to that. They haven't won their 4th game on the trot. And Newcastle are not a team to be sniffed at because they've turned up and they've beat one of the most informed teams in the league in Aston Villa and turned them over quite easy as well. Frank Butcher saying Dawson will end up our top scorer. Jay Woods is saying Moyes needs to start changing it up. Teams have worked us out and will look shocking. Only scoring from set pieces, not good enough. Adam Cook is saying not well after going down the pub to drown in my sorrows. Just need to stop giving stupid goals away. And that's the thing. A lot of the goals we are conceding are really, really crap. That was a crap goal. Good instincts from Joe Willock, but just such a crap goal to give away. Souček, Antonio, and Moyes out. David Brooks, Moyes also should have left Benrahma on and put Vlasic on for Antonio. And I wonder if there's something in there, like you maybe going back to the false 9 as well. Antonio just didn't have a great day at the office today. I know what everyone says, and I even say it, he does a lot of the hard work back in the defence, but he did struggle on several occasions today with his hold-up play. I don't understand what he's actually trying to do and achieve when he does what he's doing, which is trying to do that. When he's standing there in front of the defender and the ball comes through to him, why is he trying to immediately knock it round the defender? Just hold up and bring the midfield into play. It's hard work. It looks like it's really hard work being part of that West Ham team just now. You've got to work extra hard just to try and get a point over the line. As well. Fremer, at this point, there's no point talking 4th or 5th. It's going to be a struggle until the end of the season. Someone made the point a while ago, and it was actually on young Jake's channel, and we were talking, there was a Tottenham fan on, and he said, I actually think this could be one of the lowest scoring 4th place finish seasons we'll ever see. And he could be right. With 12 games to go, I'm looking at the league again, and 4th place currently has 43 points, and they've got 13 games to play. Manchester United, West Ham in 5th place with 42 points. That's really low scoring at this stage of the season for a 4th place position. So, yeah, we'll see. Garino is saying Moyes needs to wake up and realise that he needs to drop some players who are out of form and change the formation. We are too predictable. Mark Alexander says the board, since they took over, have spent the 9th highest in the Prem. Relate that to our positions in the last 12 years. They have full back managers. How am I glue hunting for wanting Moyes out? Come on and explain, or you can't. It's just been a twang. Well, Hammerhead, no, just I don't know if I've missed your comment. Explain to me why you want him out. That's all I want to know. Just let me know why your opinion. Give me constructive kind of reasoning why you think Moyes could go out. And if anyone in the chat does want him out, please let me know what it is. Souček is offering nothing. I'd rather bring on Vlasic and play for now central midfield. English Ardy saying predictable David Moyes. Moyes out, players leave, coaches leave. Great idea. Yeah. With performance like this, West Ham will finish 7th to 9th. But who would you put in? We've got no one. Garino saying played under 23s in the Premier League and the rest first team in the Europa League. I'm joking, maybe. Moyes out. He didn't sign anyone. Blames on him. No one else. Moyes out. Moyes fixes teams, not bringing them further from the hazardry. Dabs is saying Antonio should be dropped. That was his last chance, in my opinion. Johnson was okay, but he stop smashing the ball at the pitch. That's all he does. I actually do think quite a lot of our defence do that. There's always a lot of the defence are looking up for the big switch ball, and it just wasn't a day in our a day really for West Ham to write home about. But respect the point. Can we say that today? Should we respect the point? Mandy G, we have to respect everyone's opinions. We do. The way we are playing at the minute, we're going to struggle to finish 8th. Devil, it baffles me our strikers play more out wide and go even wider to take throws. Bennett's a tip for not getting off quickly. John Kemen said, Moyes in, get out of the rain and dry your hair. Mark Alexander finished 6th in Europe. Stability in the top half again. Moyes. Who would you rather have replace Moyes? Hazri. David is saying Moyes deserved to take the kiss from Benrahma at the point. He was the only one making runs into the box while Antonio was out wide, sending in crosses like Alexander Arnold or something. Yeah, but I don't know. Benny is just lackluster approach. Like, I don't understand it. The player's confident shot, his ability shot. I don't know what it is that's going to change. I don't know if it's the players around him that he needs. I don't know if he needs players of equal ability to come on the park. You think to yourself, would Benrahma play a lot better with someone like the Jesse Lingard in the team, or would he play a lot better if you had someone like the Dimitri Payet style of player, who can work off of each other? Would Benrahma play better if it was Lanzini? I think Fornals and Souček can get, unnecessarily slagged off in a lot of games, but they do a lot of hard work for the team. But then people will then go, well, what's hard work for the team going to do when you're not getting points over the line and not scoring goals, etc. But I just wonder if something needs to be done there, revisit the whole Souček and Declan Rice thing, because you're right, Souček is not getting further forward and not causing a lot of concerns there as well. We've got DJ Russie B. I'll let his... I think we are. Russie boy, you well?
Yeah, can you hear me all right today?
Yeah, can hear you fine, mate. Hear you fine.
It's heaving. It's heaving, so I'm downstairs.
All right, okay, cool. No worries, mate. No worries. Come on then, give us your thought. Who you with? You with anyone?
No, literally, I'm coming to the last one in, aren't I? So I walked in, and there's a queue to get upstairs. So I thought, well, fuck it. I thought it was bad for you, so I thought I'd jump in that.
No worries, Russ. Right, come on then, give us your thoughts, mate. 1-1. Not another not good day at the office, but is it a respect the point performance?
Don't think today, mate. Don't think today. Leicester, yeah, I could respect the point. Not today. 2 points dropped today. 2 points dropped. Although fair play to... Go on, you can, man.
No, go for it. You were going to say fair play to Newcastle.
No, I was supposed to say fair play to Newcastle. They came out of the traps, didn't they? Absolutely came out of the traps and just hit us with so much pace in the midfield. Not traditional midfield players like obviously Joel Linton and Willock, but Christ, they were quick, weren't they? And that's one thing we can never properly sort of defend against is pace, and they've got it in abundance. Fair play to them.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think, like you said, they came out the traps from the start. We saw that St. Maximin wasn't playing. We decided to go with Fredericks down the right-hand side. And the game of the first half was a game of two. It was kind of split. They had the first 10 minutes. Then we came out of the traps and we started putting pressure on them in the second lot of the game. However, you could see that they weren't starting to creep in down the right-hand side and causing us a lot of bother down that right-hand side, and Fredericks was really struggling. What was your opinion there?
Well, it's the second game in a row, isn't it, really? Second game in a row that the right-hand side has been troublesome. The first, obviously, Leicester, Harvey Barnes tore Soufal a new one. And today it just seemed, and as I said, I text you, obviously, as soon as the half finished, Ben Johnson was out doing warm-ups. So It was clear that he was going to come on. As you, me and Stel said in the chat, it was a strange on why it was Fredericks over Johnson, but hindsight's a great thing, isn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, it really, really, really is. And like you said, Fredericks did really struggle. I think he's good option if you need to get pace going forward. And I think we were going to try and counter the St. Maximin decision by putting Fredericks in the team. However, Moyes decided to stick with Fredericks. He was struggling. And fair play, you can see what Eddie Howe has done with Newcastle. And taking away the money, you can actually see that he's made them a bit tighter. They're more of a unit together. There's not that kind of separation between them. You've got Joel Linton. I mean, what he's done with Joel Linton has just turned him into a classy kind of box-to-box midfielder that has done a job for Newcastle.
I mean, he has.
You saw how tight they were.
Totally, and I mean, it's not rocket science. It's the same stuff he did at Bournemouth. Really, it's young, pacey. There's a lot of pace. You know, I think at Bournemouth you had Stanislas, you had Josh King, you had a lot of you had Fraser as well there. You know, they had a lot of pace, and you can see what he's done. I mean, Dan Burn is like giant, isn't it? Absolutely giant, isn't he? Really, to be honest. But they've made it tighter. They've made it tighter, man. Definitely. As I said, you know, 3 months ago, this would have been a home banker, but they're a different team, man. They're a different team now, and fair play to them. Fair play to them.
Russ, keep going for a second. I just need to say bye to my daughter. 2 seconds.
All right. Yeah. No. All right. No. Yeah. Fair play. I mean, it was one of those things where I just think we just couldn't counter that. We just couldn't counter the pace, and hopefully it might. You know, I think second half we were a lot stronger on the right hand side with Ben Johnson playing. That's for sure. And hopefully it might mean we get an extended run now, because I mean, Wolves are coming. They've got some fast people. What do you think about the game?
Fucking shocking, mate.
There we go, brilliant.
Go on, Russ, get on, go on, keep going.
When he don't play well, no one else does.
Yeah. So what's going to change? What can we do to change?
Jack Rice got to play better. That's what I tell you.
He's off the game, weren't he? Last 2 games.
I think the money's getting to his head. All the knows about 160 million. That's what I think.
Really? Do you think that?
I truly think that. I truly think that.
I think the trouble is particularly Declan Rice. Yeah, you're right. If he doesn't play, the team don't tick today.
Yeah, no, it don't. The ball don't flow. The ball don't flow at all.
And what's Souček playing like at the moment?
Shocking. He's been shocking all season. He was shocking last season. I don't like him. Antonio as well. I think Antonio.
Antonio. Talk to him about Antonio for me, will you?
So what you thought? So what's changed with Antonio? Why is he so dog at the moment?
I've never rated him since he come in. I think his technical ability is shocking. I think he ain't a striker.
No,
not a striker at all. Not a striker at all.
But I think with Antonio particularly, I mean, that second half was shocking, wasn't it? There was a time where he had the left feet hit his chest, and it sort of, and he beat himself.
I think it's shocking. I think it's terrible, mate. I think he improved for his striker. If he improved for his striker, I reckon it'll bump us up a lot more.
If we got a 15-20 goal striker, though, would it mean that people like Bowen wouldn't get as many goals and stuff because you'd have a slightly more selfish forward? I don't know.
I don't think that. Not if we get the right striker. Bowen's been playing unreal. I think he deserves a call up to the England squad, 100%. Especially on paper, if he don't get called up to the England squad, it just proves that because he plays for West Ham, he's not allowed in the English squad. That's what
the question. The question for the young lad.
It's gone.
I just
needs a beer.
I want to know about. We've been talking here about potential for Moyes looking at the younger players, and we've been seeing. We don't see it a lot. We don't see Moyes making, looking in the youth and bringing him through into the squad, especially as of lately. But we think Antonio needs something else to challenge him, and I wonder if Okoflex could be that, light at the end of the tunnel that would really offer us something a bit different, where teams would know not what to expect then. Because if Antonio was up there, you're going to have guys like Byrne who are just going to smash through the back of him, game in and game out, and the defense. I'm not trying to say, I think it's time now we need to look somewhere else, because I don't think we can come up to Wolves, who are also playing really good football, playing the way we played like today, because we will get that will go against us, Russ. That really would go against us.
Yeah, absolutely, totally. I mean, it just seems. I mean, there was a shot he had in the second half, and the camera went straight back to Moyes, and Moyes just looked up in the sky, and I think, it's not an experiment, but to me, it just seems that there's no plan B. There isn't a plan B. I mean, second half, the last 15, 20 minutes, Antonio was playing right wing and Bowen was playing up front, and it looked like basically Antonio was knackered more than anything, because he wasn't even doing much really on the right wing, to be honest. But yeah, you're totally right. We need something different there. Something different just to. There was no. I mean, they had Almiron. They had extra, and that's Newcastle. And they haven't had a lot of time to spend the money yet. So we don't have that option, and it's just so frustrating because that game was crying out someone who could put their foot on it. And it's a shame maybe Lanzini might, if he was in, because he obviously had a knock or whatever, him coming on may have just, if he was fit, would have just given a little bit of... It was a very frantic game.
Yeah.
Particularly, I mean, they haven't got midfield. We haven't got midfield. And so it was very much, it just seemed everything was playing like front to back really, really quickly. And I mean, when you've got someone like Joel Linton, who's not a midfielder, running the midfield, there's something wrong there. But I mean,
yeah.
And there was times where, I mean, just Willock's just pace. Just
well, I was going to say,
pace.
I was going to say, when it comes to Joe Willock, a player that we knew a lot about in last season, but today I actually thought he was really effective for Newcastle. He was clever, he was tricky, he was connecting defence to midfield to the forwards. He obviously stepped up, got a goal. Disappointing goal to concede, though, wasn't it, Rush? Really scrappy goal. A mistake, an unheard of mistake from Declan Rice when he heads the ball back into the path of the players. But we were struggling down that right-hand side, like all game, to be honest, and we have been over the last thing. And I wonder if that's now going to be a sign for Moyes to, do you know what? In actual fact, when Ben Johnson was there and he was playing consistently there, we actually looked pretty solid going forward, pretty solid defensively. Do you think that's what we need to do?
Yeah, I think there was... The frustrating thing was, it was a very scrappy goal. It wasn't a mistake from Deck. He just took a deflection and he sort of came, did it? It was a very, very scrappy goal. But I mean, the whole first half, we seemed that so many balls went into the box, and it was almost like each defender was leaving it for the other one. I mean, to be honest, Newcastle could have easily scored a couple in that first half, a couple more in the first half. The balls were coming across, being whipped across on that sort of really greasy surface, and we just seemed to leaving it from each other. Particularly, it was, and I mean, that's sort of how the goal happened, really, because you got Dawson. The ball comes up from Deck's deflection. You got Dawson, and you've got Fredericks there, both almost leaving it for each other. It seemed, and then Willock came in the middle and just managed to get a toe into it. But you didn't need goal line technology to say that goal went in. I know they used it, but you didn't need it. You didn't need that time.
No, you didn't at all. Declan Rice, as the young lad said that came on earlier on, wasn't firing on all cylinders today. You could see that. Joe Willock was actually having a bit of a field day with him at some points through that game. And is it right? Is it when Declan Rice doesn't perform, the whole team doesn't perform because we're now expecting such like 9 out of 10 performances from him week in and week out? Do we rely too much on him?
Definitely. Yeah, we always will do. We always will do, I think, with Deck. He's the lifeblood. He's the heartbeat of the team. You know that when he's had enough, when he's having the team having a shit game, he'll be putting his socks up and going, right, okay, and he'll be driving the team forward. And the flip side is, when he doesn't play well, or he doesn't not even play well, but he doesn't play up to his usual standards, the team suffer, and we do. You would do. It's like if Messi didn't play well for PSG, or bloody Salah didn't play well for Liverpool. He's that important. In terms of how he, but even more integral being that central midfield position. And I think then there was a lot. There was a lot of loose passing as well. Again, a lot of balls lost. Souček again seems a shadow of the player that he was last season.
Do you think, just on the Tommy Souček situation then, I mentioned there that I wonder if we need to go back and revisit the Tommy Souček and Declan Rice position. Now, I don't see, I think a lot of people in the chat today are particularly have kind of tore into Tommy Souček. However, I think what happens when Declan Rice gets forward is that he really goes under the radar and does a lot of the donkey work, right? And there's no ifs or buts about it. He does do a lot of the donkey work. But we're so used to seeing him getting forward and scoring goals. So I wonder if what Moyes should do is look at that again and maybe think, do you know what, we need to reset. We need to try something. And it doesn't mean that Declan Rice can't get forward moving forward. But for a game like Wolves, then you know what? Let's reset this a little bit. Let's Souček get further forward, cause problems for set pieces, and let Declan Rice do all the sweeping up that he usually does. But then the problem you've got, Russ, is that we've played 4 games in a row. We're unbeaten. We won 2 and drew 2. And Moyes will look at that, and he's a tactician and he's a numbers man.
And he's a stubborn bastard, isn't he? Really, as we know, So he's just stubborn. So. He'll always go with them too. To be honest, most of the game, to be honest, Declan was playing as a auxiliary centre back, really, picking up the ball quite deep, not really coming forward quite a lot. and Souček was sort of stuck in that midfield. There was no of his. It was almost like we were trying to overrun them in midfield, but they were playing 4-3-3, so you'd think that we should have enough in there to overrun. And I think today also probably wasn't the day to ping massive balls up into the box with Dan Burn there. I mean, he's massive, absolutely massive. Yeah, it's just frustrating. It is frustrating. But as you said, Moyes will look at the fact that we're undefeated in the last 4, 2 wins, 2 draws, and see But to be honest, should have been 3 points today. They were there. Yeah. They were there for the taking. They really were. We should have.
Someone actually said in the chat though, and Matt's even said it as well. Newcastle came today to shut up shop and not concede many goals, and in actual fact played for the draw, and could have snatched a win, but played for the draw. What do you take from that comment?
I don't think they did. I think the first half they came out all guns a blazing. They came out the first 20 minutes. They just hit us with pace. I mean, I sat outside and sat next to an ex West Ham player, and we was watching the game, and he was like saying they've come to play. They have come to play today, and it looked like it. I thought they were going to come shut up shop, get a point, but they weren't. I don't think they were. And then when we did score, they had to come out even more. But I mean, some of the first half, particularly with Willock's just pace, just tearing through the midfield. We haven't got a very fast midfield, so it was frustrating. It was one of those frustrating things where the opportunity was on. If we'd scored today, if we'd won the game rather today, 4th place, put the pressure on the others, and sort of solidify that sort of battle for the top 6. Now, obviously, it's still in our hands. Win our games, and hopefully they don't win their games. But it was frustrating because there's the opportunity.
And I've said all along, you'd rather have points on the table. However, with only 12 Premier League games to go for West Ham, you do look above you and say, well, Man United have got a game in hand and are a point ahead, so they can now start to open up a gap if they do win that game in hand. Below us, Arsenal have got 4 games in hand, Wolves have got 3 games in hand, and Spurs have got 4 games in hand. And if these teams win a minimum of 2 or 3 of those games, and we don't start putting points on the board soon, this can completely switch up, and we could be sitting in about 8th position, looking over our shoulders at the opposition coming up. And I don't want to be too negative, Russ, but equally we have to think that is the realistic situation.
It's a realistic situation. The fact is, it is a realistic situation. The fact is, teams below us do have 3-4 games behind, less than us, and that's 12. That's 12. 9-12 points. So realistically, that is a possibility. But for me, I think but we've got the opportunity to, if we put results on the board, to put pressure on these guys. We see, Tottenham have had opportunity to get close to us, and they haven't gone for it. And Man United, didn't do it. The game but one. Obviously, they won the last game, but the game but one. And although they've got the extra games, as you said, we've got the points on the board, and it gives us an opportunity to really put pressure on them, which we could have done today. Because Man United, they've got Brentford. Ericsson could be coming on. There's a huge buzz around that, so they'll be buzzing as well. So what will frustrate me? I mean, even if Man United get a draw today, it would have frustrated me because we would have, again, put that extra pressure on them that we could have put on, which we haven't. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Russ, is there anyone around you that wants to quickly jump on and give their opinion?
Doesn't look like it today, mate. Doesn't look like it, to be honest. But I felt really bad. I was queuing up, and I was queuing up to get upstairs. I thought, oh, fuck it, I'll just come in now quickly and just have a chat now.
Well, just, your final thoughts on the likes of Ben Rama. We talk about being a confidence player. How did you rate his performance today, and anyone else in the midfield? Well, no, we've talked about Souček, we've talked about Rice. I
mean, Ben Rama, to me, there's no doubt the quality. I thought first off, he actually played all right. I thought he played quite well. There was a lot of nice movement. Just frustrating, really, because he could be such a world beater, and there's an extra pass. But we were all a bit sloppy with our passing. So 4 hours, a couple of times we tried to get through, and the passing but it was like usually when we're on it, we're passing, we're doing these sweeping crossfield balls, and it's actually meeting in the guy's feet when they're running into it. Like there's loads of times where we did this crossfield ball to Aaron Cresswell, we end up having to backtrack to get the ball, and that just kiboshes all of the momentum. But I mean, Ben Rama, again, I was surprised. The thing that annoyed me about him was that he trotted off. And you can see Moyes was not happy about that.
No,
he didn't sprint off or go. They were, you know, and I just hope that that's something which isn't a chink in the team, you know, because it's things like that. You know, it's start off rumours and things like that. You know, I'm not sensationalising it, but you see sometimes when like Ronaldo gets off the pitch and will throw his shirt off, and then people make a big thing of it. But it shows. I do think there's a togetherness in the squad, and I do think there's quite a lot of overreaction. You can see that in the chat, and I'm not thinking that everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's fine. At the end of the day, I do see it as, you know, when you're playing crap and if you're grinding out results, that's fine. But what we need to do is, if we can win and get on a run of winning games, Russ, and if we can win, say, 3 out of the next 4, you can look back at Leicester and you can look back at Newcastle and go, respect the point. But you can't respect the point just now, because these are the games you want to get the 3 points on. And that's what we're so desperately wanting. The thing that sort of is niggling in the back of my mind is last season. Brighton, where we drew, we should have won. Arsenal, where we were winning and we drew. These, they make and we were 2 points off a Champions League spot last year. So one of them has converted to a win, would have been a Champions League. Do you know what I mean? And it's these points now. It's getting to squeaky bum time, where it happens quite a bit now. So we need to be, you know, if we were outplayed today by Newcastle and we got a point, we'd have probably walked away again. Fair play, there to go, you know, but we weren't. I think it was quite an even game, could have gone either way, and I think we didn't put the pressure on when we had the ability to put the pressure on Newcastle. Because they've won 3 in a row, but they've been shit for the rest of the season. So, you know, so it's like they could quite go back to type. You know, if we were 2-3 up at half time, they'd have had to come out and play. The game would have been wide open. We could have got another goal or 2, but we didn't. We let them get back into it, and that was a frustrating thing. That's when it comes. I know we're going to do the preview coming up for Wolves and stuff like that. We're going to do debriefs, we'll do player ratings, all that sort of stuff. But what does Moyes need to do to get the 3 points against Wolves, mate? Just go out and go out and play. You know, the trouble is, we knew with the way Newcastle set up. You know, to me, they were always just going to go for a pay. They were going to really have a go at it, and we just sort of hanged back and we let them come to us. You know, we're the home team. I think sometimes we don't act like, well, quite often than not, we don't act like the home team. We act like the away team. And, you know, for me, it'd be from the off, Declan, Souček going in, get some crunching tackles in, winning that midfield battle. The fact is, when they've got Ruben Neves, you know, they've got some good midfielders, but not physically strong. You know, we could dominate that midfield, but we need to get off to a quick foot, and we need Tommy Souček getting back to his dominating self, because he's not, you know, he physically should be able to dominate someone like Ruben Neves. No worries at all, no problem at all. But he doesn't. And like today, you know, you've got a midfield which hasn't got much, you know, experience playing central midfield, like Joel Linton, who's basically a forward, being converted, and Willock, who's again a forward, who's sort of been converted. But they didn't show their teeth. That's what we need to do: show our teeth, and don't give no crap, and just get stuck in there. We just haven't done that for a while. You know, really had a proper. And it starts with Declan Rice. It starts with Dec. If Dec comes in and crunching challenge straight away, the crowd are up. Everyone's, you know, because the crowd were quite flat today. I thought Newcastle fans they didn't stop singing the whole bloody game. We were quite flat. But we didn't have anything to cheer about, really. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, you can't build an atmosphere unless the team are a crunching tackle or a nice like 1-2. Like everything just was a bit slow and a bit behind everything. Everything was a bit too slow in my liking today.
Yeah. Oh, who's this? Have we got someone coming on?
You all right? You all right? What do you think of today?
We're disappointed, and that's a good thing, because when you're disappointed with the draw, then that demonstrates that we should be doing better. I don't want to the Newcastle goal was shambolic. I think everyone recognises that. You know, I'm not saying anything terrible, but yeah, we've just finished. It's been freezing. You were DJing in a lovely box. It was nice and warm. We were DJing in a freezing cold.
So these guys, they're in the Heineken bar, so they're outside DJing outside. So they're DJing outside, so they're a bit cold. So you got fingerless gloves today.
I genuinely can't believe that. How warm you love. Yeah, you play all the rock music I normally play, and I stopped playing it now just because I just think everyone thinks I'm ripping you off if I play the Cult or if I play AC/DC, so I don't play anymore. I've had to move into indie rock.
I flip it. What do you think about today?
I mean, Newcastle are right. They've been playing really well, and we made them look average. I don't think they had a shot on goal today, and until we headed it in. I think Rice headed it in, didn't he?
Yeah,
he
what
did.
The Newcastle bloke doing celebrating was, I don't know, because he wasn't anywhere near it.
They were celebrating that they'd won the league today.
Oh no!
They were celebrating that they won the league, but fair play to them. I mean, they've come down. Christ knows what time they had to get up in the morning to come down today. So
they couldn't have come down yesterday.
They might be quicker.
Well, yeah.
No, fair. You know, as much as it might stick in my throat to say it, fair play to the Geordies. They had a good support today.
They had massive support, yeah.
And I mean, every one of us who watched it thought we should have won. We were the better team. We had more, attacking stuff. I think the Geordies are over the moon that they got the point. We were disappointed with the point,
and it shows, doesn't it? The fact is, we've got, we're disappointed that we got a draw, and we should have won. And it shows where we are as a club. I think sometimes, Anton made a point as well. We've won. We're undefeated in 4, 2 wins, 2 draws, but we feel really disappointed.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange, isn't it? It's a bit of a strange.
What I liked about it was the fact that they scored just before half time, and that's a terrible time to let in a goal.
Yeah.
Yet it didn't affect us in the second half, which still looked as good in the second half as we did in the first half.
Yeah. No, good point. Well, you don't get a beer because you must be cold.
Cheers, Russ.
Or a coffee.
Big up to Russ. He's like a legend of West Ham, absolute legend. But if you want to listen to the drum and bass, come and listen to us at the Heineken bar.
Well done, lads. Thank you. Cheers. That was good. Good to get their opinion on it. And it's funny because you're getting a lot of mixed opinions really on West Ham's performance today.
Yeah.
People can see a positive. A lot of people can see a negative. But at the end of the day, I want us to get more points on the board, as every West Ham fan does, because if we can open up a gap, it then causes bother, to the teams below us who then look up at us and go, they're 6 points away. And that's the only saving grace really for us. With Spurs, who've got 4 games in hand on us, we actually have 6 points on them. So they need to make up ground on us. Wolves, we've got 5 points on us, and they have to make those points up and quick. So let's hope we can moving forward. Russ, final words from you, mate.
Keep the faith. Half, you and me, and we're half glass full people. Keep the faith. As you said, if we're disappointed, we've got a point. Disappointed, we've got a point. Just think about that. We haven't been playing well at all, but we've been undefeated in 4. We're still in the FA Cup, and things will get better. Don't know when, but things will get better. Hopefully with Wolves. Hopefully the Wolves game.
Touch wood, mate. Touch wood. Listen, thank you for everyone who's joined us today on the Matchday Highlights, the review, the match watch along. Hopefully by the next time I do a show, I'll have all my new equipment arrive, waiting for it coming through in the post. It's completely thrown me, Russ. Completely thrown me. I'm working off of the crap camera here. I can't. It's in the wrong position.
It looks better, mate. It looks better.
My back's sore. So I'm going to get it all set up. Don't worry, it's coming soon. Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you're new around here, subscribe. Keep the faith in the West Ham. Let me jump through some of the comments before we do go. So many comments in here. Fredericks is League One standard from Bonnie Hammer. So is Johnson, Bonnie. Frank is saying my glass is always full, Russ. I work in a pub from Frank Butcher. The atmosphere in the London Stadium was very flat. I thought our supporters could have been better, a lot better. We needed more energy today. What was the atmosphere like, Russ?
Flat.
Yeah.
It was flat, I think. It was flat. I think, the weather didn't help, literally. Literally 10 minutes before the heavens opened, which didn't help. But it was a flat game, I thought, from the supporters. But then it's a two-way street. We started hot. The fans started hot, but then Newcastle literally did the thing which you can imagine Eddie Howe would do, silence the crowd straight away. Get on them, and you know, if it's not going our way the first 10-15 minutes, the crowd do go quiet, and we do. And but you need something to let them shout about, and so they were flat today. It was a flat atmosphere today.
Yep, absolutely. Just a few more comments from people here. Moyes has no ambition to compete with the top four. Frank Butcher saying we need Noble back. Loads of comments in there. Thanks for watching us. Subscribe to the channel, like the comments. We'll be back over the next couple of days with content for you. Stay safe and keep supporting West Ham. Come on, you Irons. Bye.